So here we are. We're talking about independence versus calling your own shots as an athlete. So had a couple of questions over the last couple of weeks or over the last month or so about you guys do a really good job of getting your guys to be independent, and then how do you get them to be independent but also be coachable? That was a question that was coming from a state west of here. So basically what we're talking about is, when we talk about independence, we're talking about being able to be self-driven, being able to get out of yourself what you know you need. That could come in a structured environment or a structured workout, or that could come in a workout where you come in and the coach says, hey, get ready to go and wrestle. At that point in time, you have to know that there may not be a lot of coach stepping in and a coach-athlete interaction, and the coach is going to kind of sit back and watch the practice, and so you're going to really have to get it out of yourself. It may not be one of those workouts where you're dragging butt and you do a good job when the coach gets on you, because this time the coach might not get on you. The other side of that is in a coach-driven workout where you would be maybe feeling sorry for yourself for a little bit or whatever, and then he comes in and he says, okay, hey, Brands, you got to get moving, you got to get going, and then you get going and you become, motivated from the inside because of the catalyst, which happened to be your coach, got you going. That's a really good sign of independence, or a guy showing that he has the skills to become an independent wrestler, an independent person, bettering himself by himself, knowing what's right, knowing what's wrong, and then choosing the right course of action based on that knowledge, and not going the other way just because nobody's looking or whatever. The problem with that is, and this is a question, is how do you get your guys to be independent and also not have them call their own shots. So, okay, guys independent. There's a difference between what I just talked about in a kid or a family, really, that just goes rogue. You have a coach, for example, let's take the high school that I'm talking about out west of here. Kid gets a recommendation from a coach. He goes home. The mom and the dad go another direction. They go against what the coach, not against, that's a bad word because I don't see it as for or against, but they go the other direction away from the guy, the coach, who spends more time in the wrestling room with that student athlete than anybody else does on the planet, and they go another direction. The kid ends up getting hurt. Another kid in the lineup ended up going to another tournament and just getting the snot kicked out of him by a couple of guys that he had beaten earlier in the season. That's a problem. Now you're dealing with confidence. You're dealing with mental toughness. You're dealing with where the best way to build a guy is to get him victories. The coach sees that, he recommends this, they go the other way, and now you got this dip in these kids, these athletes' performance, because they went rogue, as I would say. They go the other way. They go against the recommendation of the high school wrestling coach. That's a problem. It's a problem because it's undermining to the program. It's a problem because you have leadership going on within that program that is being questioned. Whether it's really being questioned or not isn't the point, and what the perception is. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what people in the community, what other wrestlers, what other parents see, and then it spreads. That's a problem. That's a problem. Not to the coach, but to the program and to the athlete who is actually the one that is calling the shots. usually the coach is going to have a really good handle on what's going on. And it would be from Eastern Iowa Wrestling's train of thought, or our, philosophy, that, I think we got a pretty good hand on what's going on, or a pretty good feel for what's going on with our guys, and to maybe take that recommendation. I think it could go a long ways with helping your kid or your athlete, reach the things that he aspires to reach. And that's all we're saying. We appreciate what kind of a response we get out of most of our guys, and would like to say that those guys that we've been working with are doing really well, and they're coming to us for those recommendations, and we're giving them recommendations, and the wrestling is going like this right now. Whereas maybe, last year had a few instances where you had parents involved and you saw the kids' performance kind of come and go and this and that, and guy gets ready, he gets beat at the freestyle states, he does really well in the folk style, and then it's this and it's this, and there's no consistency in his training, there's no consistency in his results, and that's what we're talking about. Just something for you to understand from where we're at Eastern Iowa Wrestling. And the other thing is that we want to say real quick is, if there's two guys from the same club competing, and wrestler A has his dad and his youth coach from his hometown in the corner, and wrestler B doesn't have anybody in his corner, an Eastern Iowa Wrestling coach is going to jump in which corner? Use your common sense there. Which corner would an Eastern Iowa guy jump into? He would jump into wrestler B's corner. Why? Because it's not about the coach being against the other guy. It's about the coach bringing each and every club member along and giving them the best chance to become successful through their independence. When you're in a corner of a guy, you're teaching independence, believe it or not. And that's important to understand. We're not going to take favorites over anybody. In fact, last year, I remember a time where Mike, my own personal kid, was wrestling, and Jim Kelly, who is the Eastern Iowa Wrestling coach, jumped into, my son's opponent's corner. And it didn't faze me one bit. Why? Because I trust our staff, I trust the direction that we're going, and I trust Jim Kelly. And if I didn't, I wouldn't have my son be part of this program. It's that simple. So you got to kind of look at who's calling the shots. Are we building toward independence? And do you trust, the staff? And there's a lot of information there. Take it or leave it. Read between the lines. Draw your assumptions, whatever you want. But we just want to get that word out there. We really appreciate the parents this year, and our athletes are remarkable with their wrestling, and their growing toward manhood is like this right now. And we believe that is because of the one-on-one time that we have with them. We've had kids that over the last 2 years, maybe all of last year or most of last year, wouldn't look you in the eye. And now they're coming in and they're having conversations. I mean, they're coming into my office, hey, and they're joking and laughing before workouts or after workouts, and they're hanging with us. And when we talk to them about the serious issues, like, you got to get tough, you got to get going, you got to get moving, you got to get shaking in the workout. Their eyes are right back on ours. And when you say, hey, look at me, they look at you. When we're giving them the message before practice, they're looking up front. Their eyes are on the speaker. And the maturity level has skyrocketed. And that's a testament and a tribute to the parents who, ultimately create the belief or create the belief in the athletes themselves, where the athlete needs to believe in themselves because they trust us. It's not the other way around here. We're not asking you to trust us, then you'll get results. We're asking you to believe in yourself, and we can help you do that. And then you're going to get your results. You're going to get the results. And then we'll help you any way we can. So that's where we're at. Just a message we wanted to get out there. after that USA regional. Appreciate it.